from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
AFL CEO Andrew Dillon says he's not concerned by opposition to the proposed high performance centre at the Rosny Parklands. Flying into Tasmania today, he played down speculation about the meeting, saying it's business as usual.
A trip to Tassie for Andrew Dillon brings a weight of expectation.
I'm just going through high performance centre, how the club's going, and the stadium. So exciting. Plenty of stuff to talk about, but we're really looking forward to it.
Meeting with the club and Premier as the countdown to the Devils' debut continues, but hurdles for key infrastructure remain.
Premier Rockcliffe needs to make sure that Tasmania gets the AFL teams that we deserve and that he delivers what he's promised. That is a stadium for $375 million and not a red cent more.
Some taking a dim view of the Chiefs' trip to town.
It is clear that these are crisis talks and they should commence a conversation about how we deliver a team for Tasmania without the need for a brand new billion-dollar stadium.
Absolutely not. It was a regularly scheduled meeting. It was just great to be down here in person.
Not concerned by opposition to the high performance centre's location.
That's why you have those processes and people can put their positions forward and they get dealt with.
As geotechnical work at Rosny and Kingston continues to find a suitable home.
It impacts both time and cost with what comes from from the geotech work. So it's a critical input into what we're looking at.
Also on the schedule, a visit to Mac Point. Tasmanians will get a first look at concept designs for the stadium next week. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The government has dismissed a suggestion of misleading Parliament as Labor demands answers about the cost of redeveloping the Devonport berth. It was revealed yesterday key works to accept the new Spirit of Tasmania vessels will cost $375 million after an original estimate of $90 million.
They were repeatedly questioned in question time in the recent sessions of Parliament, and they refused to answer what we already knew, which was that there had been a significant blowout in costs.
A government spokesperson says the Premier had not received revised cost estimates at the time. Fewer Tasmanian children were going hungry at school thanks to the expansion of a popular lunch program. The move amid the backdrop of a review into the education system, the Teachers' Union crying out for more resources.
Looking for a promise the government won't be taking a bite out of education. The Teachers' Union not mincing its words on the upcoming budget.
We need her to actually commit to being no cuts to education as a whole.
Days after an announcement of a wider review into our education system, the Minister has committed to safeguarding school budgets and frontline services, but won't rule out other cuts.
If there are areas where I think we can find efficiencies to be more effective, of course we would be looking at that.
According to the union, a curriculum review to address Year 12 attainment was halted due to ongoing staff shortages, an issue it wants addressed as soon as possible.
We don't have a short-term, medium or long-term plan to fix the shortage for educators in schools.
We are throwing everything we have at staff shortages in our schools here in Tasmania.
The fight over funding and resourcing comes as Tasmania's school lunch program exits the pilot phase, aiming to bring on 30 more schools by 2026. The scheme seeing success at Montello Primary School in the northwest.
Our data certainly points to an improvement on the days where we do have hot food lunches in attendance, but also in engagement with schooling as well.
We've had reports back from principals and from teachers that students are much calmer on those days.
The state government committing over $14 million to the program. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
A decision to make heavy redactions to a report about improving Tasmania's right to information laws has been roundly mocked. The discussion paper released by the government was commissioned as part of the $500,000 uplift project to improve the system.
We've always known that RTI in this state is broken, and now we seem to have reached the stage of the ridiculous.
I think it tells you everything you need to know about this government and the culture of secrecy within the government.
Liberal Minister Joe Palmer says the right to information system is handled at arm's length from government. For many of us, water quality might not be front of mind when we head to the beach, although a recent report might change that. Water samples at various locations in the Derwent have been tested, with the results showing the best and the worst spots to take a dip.
Whether it's dipping your toes or heading for an early morning swim, Hobart's water is becoming cleaner.
So this last season, we've seen a real step up in terms of water quality improvement, about a 66% improvement across the estuary.
An annual program studying the quality of Hobart's water, looking into what exactly people are splashing in.
We look for enterococci, which is a bacterium, which is a faecal indicator.
Greater Hobart making a splash, with 17 of 19 swimming sites passing the test.
Well, some of the best places are in Kingborough, so Taroona Beach is a really excellent place to go, but also in Sandy Bay, which is really fantastic for a capital city.
While the northern end of Blackmans Bay Beach has improved from a fair to a good rating, the southern end has been downgraded to poor, with people being urged not to swim in that particular area.
Yeah, it is disappointing. We know that there will be people that love to swim at the southern end.
Council believes contaminants entering the stormwater system is the most likely to blame, with plans afoot to put up signs warning keen swimmers.
However, it's really important that we are providing people with all the information so that they know how and where they can go swimming.
Yeah, I think there's some real improvements in the estuary. There's still work to do. There will always be work to do.
Taswater's encouraging the community to be mindful of what's being flushed into the river.
We have a motto of the 3 Ps, so pee, poo and toilet paper only.
The program hoping more people take the results into consideration next time they hit the water.
We encourage people to use the website and go swimming.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Storms have been bringing heavy rain and lightning to the state's north as pockets of hail blanketed centres from Bridge North to Burnie. Drivers contending with ice on the Bass Highway near Deloraine this morning, Longford turning white just before lunch. Conditions are easing this evening, but showers will continue across the state until early next week. The conditions prompting the RACT to urge drivers to take extra care on wet, slippery roads and to check tyres have adequate tread to avoid aquaplaning. The Road Sign Assist team says it sees an increase in motor incidents and crashes caused by icy conditions.
Vehicle maintenance can play a role in how those accidents play out.
We're also being encouraged to ensure brakes, lights and batteries are working properly. The Alcohol, Tobacco and Other Drugs Council is calling for more health-focused support for Tasmanians experiencing substance abuse. Its message coinciding with International Support Don't Punish Day, a global push to see drug use regarded as a health issue rather than a criminal one.
We want to elevate the human rights of people who use drugs. We believe that they should have access to health care and they should be treated with dignity and respect.
Tasmania's latest drug strategy was launched last month with a focus on prevention, intervention and treatment. A specialised program aiming to improve educational attainment and health outcomes is rolling out in Tasmanian primary schools. It's already gaining international recognition. Health groups now calling for it to form part of every classroom's curriculum.
These students are very busy learning about the important role that sleep plays in their everyday routines.
It would help us not just now but when we're older because it could enforce good habits.
Before bed, I listen to some calming music, and 30 minutes before bed, I turn off my screens, and then 15 minutes before bed, I read a book.
It's all part of the Health Lit program, where schools like Bowen Road Primary develop their own action plan, focusing on how to teach healthy habits and make decisions that can be incorporated into everyday life.
If we can support health literacy development, we can also increase the educational attainment of our children in Tassie.
And it fits into the curriculum, it fits into wellbeing, it fits into everything that the children do in a school.
Sleep, eating well and mental health, just some of the important topics that are covered. Grade 6s designing shirts and posters filled with positive messages.
One of my negative thoughts is I can't do this, so I changed that to I can do this.
There are now calls for the program to be adopted across Tasmania's 123 primary schools and for the state government to help achieve this.
Here we are, we've got a world-leading expert in Tasmania and people want this product
and we're not making it available to Tasmanians, that's just not good enough.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Now his legs have recovered from his 350-kilometre Burnie to Hobart walk. Peter Gutwin is back at the Migrant Resource Centre reflecting on the journey. The stunt smashing fundraising goals, collecting $65,000 along the way.
Importantly, it will enable us to provide services where we haven't been able to provide services before, and it will keep the conversation going.
People have taken the initiative to care, but not only to care, but to actually act upon that care and to create awareness where there hasn't been as great an awareness.
The Migrant Resource Centre is now being flooded with inquiries from businesses, councils and sporting organisations looking for advice to improve inclusion.
Suffering 2 losses on the road is a major setback, but it hasn't dashed the Chargers men's chances of playing finals. They will, however, need to make good in this weekend's double header. Thankfully, that job should be made easier with a couple of huge ins.
We welcome back Clint Steindl and hopefully Joe Chilcott this week, so I don't think we've had a full squad all year. They're games that we should win, but knowing Kilsyth and Diamond Valley, they'll be competitive.
The Tawns won't be loafing around this weekend, determined to bring the dough even though their post-season hopes have faded. The coach lamenting a disrupted season as focus turns to stringing together some wins to close out the season.
She's starting to play really well together. We had the best game we've had so far against Knox, who are a really talented side. They've only lost 2 games this season, and we were with them all the way till half-time.
What we really have to start improving is our defence and getting teams to score less.
There's still a glimmer of finals hope for the Thunder despite mixed results on the weekend. Just a week into pre-season and the Tasmanian Tigers are feeling ready for their tilt at 4 consecutive WNCL titles, but there's always room for improvement.
So we expect to be competitive again this season, and we're going to keep pushing ourselves to improve character and our ability to manage high pressure situations so we can win those big moments.
Former Hurricane Ruth Johnston is joining the fold. The final team list will be locked in very soon. That's all in sport, Kim. I've got to go home, pull on my Origin jersey and get ready to seal this series up.
Oh, gee, it's awkward in the studio with our New South Welshman Peter Murphy here. He's next with the weather forecast and his prediction for the game.
Good evening. Hobart scrambled today to 11 degrees, Launceston 15, Devonport 13 and Burnie 12. Temperatures close to average apart from the Upper Derwent Valley, a bit below there where Ouse recorded 9 and Bushy Park 8. 16 was our top, that was at Friendly Beaches. St Helens and Flinders Island 15 degrees, King Island and Low Head 14, Smithton and Strawn 13 today. Woods Lake Dam just south of Arthurs Lake topped the overnight rainfall with 60 millimetres, pretty nice number. While today as plenty of cloud continued we saw 17 millimetres fall at Pine Tree Rivulet. Scottsdale and Deloraine 15 millimetres. Further afield, we see plenty of cloud off the northeast of the nation and also to the southwest of WA. We can see that better on the map for tomorrow. The week trough is to our west. The next low further west again south of Perth. That's heading our way for the weekend, and the high settles in over the eastern states. We'll have west-northwesterly winds at 25 knots over the southeast, but up to 30 knots for remaining coastal waters and blowing up to 25 knots over the southwest lakes. Strong wind warning, that's for waters from Low Rocky Point up and around and down to St Helens Point. Forecast for tomorrow, Hobart partly cloudy and 13, 12 the top for Cygnet, possible shower for New Norfolk, 3 overnight, 13 the high tomorrow. 14 for Launceston with a possible shower, same for Devonport but 13 the high, partly cloudy for Campbelltown, a top of 12 degrees. 13 for Burnie with a shower or 2, showers easing from Strawn, 12 the maximum and 14 the high for Smithton. St Helens tomorrow a top of 15 degrees, partly cloudy as well for Swansea, 14 the top and 13 at Fingal. On Friday, showers mainly over the west, Bass Strait Islands and later the north of the state. That will bring the next system in. The showers will be here on Saturday, although light over the southeast of the state. And on Sunday, fresh west to southwest winds adding to that wet forecast. And we're not alone either. Showers for Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, partly cloudy and 16 in Melbourne. Sunny weather forecast for Sydney, 19 the top, a shower and 24 in Brisbane. Partly cloudy at Hobart, 8 degrees, 7 in Launceston now, a few showers falling, showery in Devonport and 10 degrees, Kim. Oh, guess I'd better get set for another disappointment, but you've got to support the team, haven't you?
do. You're probably better off reading a book tonight, though. You'll be in a better mood tomorrow. That is all your news for now.